A massive trade just went down. Artemi Panarin is now a member of the Columbus Blue Jackets, and Brandon Saad is going back to Chicago. So let's have Cap Friendly break this trade down before we break it down in the NHL 17 franchise mode simulation. So going to the Chicago Blackhawks, former member, former Stanley Cup champion Brandon Saad. You're also going to see goaltending prospect Anton Forsberg and a 2018 5th round pick. Now going to the Columbus Blue Jackets, you got all-star forward Artemi Panarin. You also got Tyler Mott and a 2017 6th round pick. So that is a huge trade. Let's see how this thing breaks down in franchise mode. So one thing to note here, Tyler Mott and Forsberg don't have a ton of trade value. So basically we're going to be focusing on Brandon Saad's trade value and Artemi Panarin's. Now it's about the same. Maybe Panarin has a little bit more, but if we offer this from Columbus going over to the Chicago Blackhawks, Chicago says no, they do not want Brandon Saad back. They are perfectly fine with Artemi Panarin. Now if we go the other way, offering Panarin to the Blue Jackets, they also say no. So in the franchise mode simulation, both teams don't want this trade. Kind of funny how that works out. This is a blockbuster trade in every sense of the word. What's not to love about Artemi Panarin? I know Columbus Blue Jackets fans are stoked. He's only 25 years old. Obviously, he was playing with some extremely talented players over there in Chicago, and that probably has something to do with his insane point totals of 151 points in 162 games since coming over from Russia. That is extremely impressive. But, you know, we still go into a team that has lots of firepower with Cam Atkinson, Alexander Wenberg. I think he's going to do very well in Columbus. I like this trade for the Blue Jackets a lot. They also get forward Tyler Mott, who's a pretty decent player from what I've heard. I haven't seen a ton of this guy. He's only played 33 games, 4 goals, 3 helpers for 7 points. He's a smaller guy, 5'9", but you know, Cam Atkinson's small, and look at him. But I think it's a great trade. I love this trade for Columbus. I mean, Panarin has it all. He's got the insane shot. He's fast. He does all the little things right. He's the bread man. How can you not love this guy? And I know Hawks fans are excited to get back a fan favorite in Brandon Saad. This guy won Stanley Cups in 2013 and 2015. He was a big piece to their Stanley Cup success and all the success they've had while he was a member of their team. I mean, they traded him away, didn't win a cup. Let's bring him back. Let's see what happens. But I really like Brandon Saad. Obviously a fan favorite. The players loved him too. This tweet here says, belief is that Jonathan Toews and Patrick Kane let it be known to Hawks how much they miss Saad. They loved him. That just goes to show how much Chicago probably listens to their star players, and I think getting Brandon Saad back made a lot of people happy, not only fans but players as well. Now Saad didn't play very long in Columbus, but from what I've heard, people loved him in Columbus as well. Maybe he's just a great guy to have in the room. I know Columbus fans don't have a bad thing to say about Brandon Saad, and I mean, in his time in Columbus, only spent 2 years, but he had 53 points in back-to-back years, which is a career high, 31 goals in 2015-2016. So the guy's a hell of a player. I mean, he did well in Chicago, he did well in Columbus, and I assume he's going to do well in Chicago once again. So this is a great move for Chicago. It's a great move for Columbus. In addition to getting Brandon Saad, they also got Anton Forsberg, who is a 24-year-old Swedish goaltending prospect. I don't know a whole lot about this guy. I don't know how good he is or if he's even anything. It says here he has 10 career starts and he is 1-8. So it's really not that great on paper, but you know what? Maybe a change of scenery is all this guy needs. Anton Forsberg was the little piece going back to Chicago Blackhawks in addition to the Brandon Saad trade. Now it's time to pick a winner for this trade, and surprisingly, I'm going to pick the Chicago Blackhawks as winners for this trade for a few reasons. They get back a proven winner in Brandon Saad, who's won 2 Stanley Cups. The fans love him, the players love him. That is a win all day for the Chicago Blackhawks. Obviously, losing Panarin hurts, that's no surprise, but they have another very young, skilled winger coming up in the system, could probably play next year, and that is Alex DeBrincat. I mean, you could see a very similar situation with Kane and DeBrincat as you saw with Kane and Panarin, so I'm not too worried about, you know, not having that superstar winger coming up in Chicago. They get Brandon Saad back, who's going to be at least a 50-point scorer. They have DeBrincat coming up. I really think this is a win for the Chicago Blackhawks in all sense of the word. Now, that doesn't mean I don't like the Panarin trade going to the Jackets. Jackets. I love Panarin going to the Blue Jackets, a young, skilled team, nowhere to go but up. They had that crazy winning streak last year. They're obviously extremely skilled, and adding another player like Artemi Panarin is going to make that team that much more dangerous. I'm not quite sure you're going to see the 70-ish point totals that you saw with Patrick Kane, but who knows? I am very excited to see what he can do without Patrick Kane and kind of be the man in Columbus. So that's it for me, guys. Thank you for watching. In my opinion, the Hawks win the trade. It's a little bit more complicated than just black and white. I think the Hawks win, but I also think Columbus wins. I think this is a great trade all around. I love this trade. But as always, I want to hear what you guys have to think as well in the comments down below. Leave a comment, leave a like if you enjoyed it, and I will see you when the next trade breaks.